Hello, I'm Bob the Booker and welcome back to my channel. And today is just like quite a nice fun thing really, because I feel very, very privileged and very lucky and happy to have sort of reached 500 subscribers. However that happened, I have no idea. I started back in November, and it's still a bit wild to me that anything I do has any views, so this is quite exciting. So thank you all very much. Hello to people who are new. I hope this is not off-putting enough to make you regret this decision. I'm always really nervous. So when I sort of reached 100 subscribers, I was really nervous around this. That like the second I released the video for 100 subscribers, I was really worried that somehow in the interim it would have dipped back down. So I kind of watched it creep just over 500 yesterday, and I was like, oh, should I do this? And then it's now 509 at time of recording, and so I'm like, okay, maybe that's okay. I was really nervous about being like, yeah, 500 subscribers, and then it sort of, you know, it being like 499, and it just feeling like a weird pipe dream. Anyway, okay, thank you, person outside beeping. I hear you. Thank you for celebrating. But they're still going. What's going on today? But I mean, honestly, thank you so much. It's so nice. I feel very honoured that you are indulging me rambling and being an idiot on camera. So thank you. That is much appreciated. It's always quite. It's a fun sort of thing as well, because obviously numbers are somewhat irrelevant in the kind of grand scheme of things, but it's just nice to see regardless, so thank you. Again, I think as with 100, I just wanted to sort of shout out some booktubers whose content I've been really enjoying, and particularly some sort of newer channels. So yeah, but firstly, before I begin on the newer channels, massive thanks to Eric Carl Anderson over at Lonesome Reader, who recently did a shout out for my books that take place over a day video. That was a wonderful, lovely surprise, particularly from Eric, who is a large part of the reason I'm doing booktube. So again, I blame him for everything. But no, it was so lovely of him to do a shout out, kind of out of the blue as well. And I sort of pretty much jumped about 100 subscribers overnight. So thank you. That's rather lovely. And then similarly, around the same time, Sean over at Sean the Book Maniac, who is wonderful as well. And I did a little kind of discussion chat video with him a few weeks ago. How long? What is time anymore? Who knows? Also did a shout out about the same video, which has just been really quite sweet. It's a video that I've been sort of thinking of the idea of for a while, and then was just like, right, I'm just gonna make it and put it out there, and didn't necessarily think about too much after I'd done it, and then people took to it, so that's nice. That's always a lovely thing to have happen. So again, thank you both. Thank you to both of them, to Sean and Eric, and to the wonderful other sort of booktubers who I sort of interact with a bit, including the wonderful KD Books, who I had the absolute joy and pleasure of meeting up with in person recently and watching him get slowly more and more caffeinated with very, very strong coffee. So that was lovely. And so on to some booktubers who I really just want to shout out, who I've been really enjoying, and I just think are well worth your time. So firstly, the wonderful Larry over at Larry Has Opinions, who I also met in person recently. This has been a very weird few days. And Larry is wonderful, so funny, so clever, and I think such a broad range of books as well. So he'll read a bit of fantasy, he'll read a bit of literary fiction, he'll read some thrillers, and it's really exciting for me as someone who gets quite stuck in ruts of certain genres of book and certain prizes of book, and so I absolutely love his channels. Plus, I mean, I know I literally say this under pretty much every video of his thumbnails are just like chef's kiss, like perfection. So great, and just a wonderful human. Then next, apocalypse reading. The reason I was about to say apocalypse, I'm like, that nobody says that. Apocalypse reading, whose videos again are just super fun and really thoughtful. Again, with some books that are way out there that I wouldn't normally come across, and just some really great, interesting opinions. Particularly just sort of going really left field in a wonderful way. and yeah, I think their channel deserves a lot more love. Similarly, someone who sort of started around the same time, I think we sort of both sort of did quite a lot of booktube bits together again, and that's AJ Dunn Reads and Writes, who is always worth checking out. Again, I mean, I basically will say this about everyone who I'm about to recommend, but reads very different books to what I read, and that's again really exciting. They're doing a Stephen King readathon as well, and as someone who's always sort of been a bit in the background, sort of lurking around Stephen King and never quite checking his writing out, it makes me really happy to see AJ Dunn have a little look at Stephen King's writing. Yes, then somebody with who I think maybe I think currently takes the prize for best booktube name, which is Tome Raider. Like, I mean, perfection. Like that's brilliant. So Tome Raider has some really interesting and exciting insights on books, and is just well worth checking out. I mean, for their content as well, but I mean, obviously their name again is just like perfection. That is, I'm now angry that I didn't think of that, especially as someone who played a lot of Tomb Raider games as a kid. Brilliant. Then Leo Bancroft, who I think is relatively new, and put out a really interesting book recently, video recently, talking about Trans Day of Visibility and looking at a couple of trans authors. So did a bit of a look in at Detransition Baby, which is a book I adored. They didn't necessarily get on with it as well as I did, but you know, but I loved the way that Leo spoke about it, and he also spoke about Vivek Shreyer's I'm Afraid of Men, which is such an interesting book. And I sort of just found by accident when I was just sort of scrolling through like Libby or something, and Leo did a much more interesting sort of description and kind of analysis of it, again, which I'll link. But yeah, lovely, lovely to check out, and really, really interesting thoughts. Then there is also Indian Cooks and Books. Yeah, that's right. I got that the right way around, I think. Again, with some sort of really interesting, exciting insights. So useful for me to get out of my comfort zone with reading and sort of look at other books outside. And I really hope you check out their content as well and really enjoy it. But all of that rambling aside, I'm even wearing a nice little shirt for you. I just want to say thank you so much for appearing. This is now the point where 100 people mass unsubscribe and this video becomes redundant. But thank you all again, and I'm really excited to get chatting with you in the comments and hear your thoughts and ideas around books and all those kinds of nice things. My favourite thing I think so far about being doing these videos and what have you is just having really interesting conversations with people in comments, often talking about books in ways I completely never considered before, recommending books I'd never heard of, or even just sort of subtly correcting me when I've kind of gotten something a bit wrong. I love that. It's useful for me to hear those things. So thank you again, and here's to another magical number in future, hopefully, maybe. Let's see. But thank you and take care. Have a wonderful time. Bye bye.